Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game between Infi versus Moon. This game taken from the WGL 2020. Does this say winter season? I would have thought it would say it's summer season, but winter season, August Pro Division. Not quite sure why it says winter, as it's going to be a high of 104 this weekend for me. And I am in fact in the northern hemisphere, 104 Fahrenheit. I don't know my conversions to Celsius that well, but let me see if I can do it off the top of my head. 104, about 50 plus, what, 50 plus, yeah, 50. All right. No, you have to minus 32 first. Hold on. 35, 35, about 33? Is that right? No. All right, never mind. I can't do the math in my head. Yeah, and that's why we have Google. Anyways, let's go ahead and break this down in this 1v1 matchup. First thing I wanted to say is Infi has decided to go undead in this matchup. He did not choose random. And with that, Infi is normally a random player, and he normally has a very but in order for him to choose a specific race in this matchup, I believe that he has a very specific strategy that he wants to, deploy or use against Moon. Moon, however, on the other side of the map, going to be going for that Keeper of the Grove first. There is archers going to be trained up. And well, this map, Echo Isles, is a map that I would think rather favors Infi. There are limited resources on the map. The chances of anyone going into high upkeep is rather low. Players will probably not stay there for very long. And well, if the players are trying to be efficient as well, they may just try to stay in no upkeep throughout the match and try and trade efficiently. Losing 30% of all the gold you mine just because your army's over a certain size doesn't usually go all too well, especially if you're only staying to 50-60 supply. I don't expect the players to be staying in that 50 to 60 supply range far too long, as we're going to be going into, is it ghouls already? Alright, Death Knight now trying to wander out here. Not quite sure why he's getting held up as the units are now making their way out. Keeper of the Grove already on the move. Hey, good morning. How are you doing? Keeper of the Grove already on the move to try and perhaps do a little bit of harassment and stop this Death Knight here. There are already two wisps being brought over. So Moon also specifically has a strategy that he wants to employ against Infi. Alright, here we go. This is a Death Knight fast expansion bringing in double wisps over. And what does that mean? It means that he's going to try and detonate all of that blight right there before a ziggurat could be placed down. Death Coil on that Acolyte once more. There is a second sacrificial skull though, so this was all perhaps part of the plan as more Ents are joining in on the fight. Alright, level 2 now on the Keeper of the Grove. And well, it looks like Moon's strategy is actually going to beat out Infi's, as we're looking at a Death Coil trying to save a ghoul. That ghoul, however, not long for this world, getting taken out right there. Alright, units looking to back up. Is Infi going to double down on this expansion and try and still establish it? He still has another sacrificial skull, and this is going to be a very expensive expansion indeed. Oh, excuse me. Alright, both wisps were already detonated. Death Knight trying to get that last hit. Does he get it? Yes, he does. More ghouls now making their way out across the map. Death Knight, however, getting entangled. Ring of Protection will help, as the Archer is now going to go ahead and try and pull back too. Alright, Force of Nature only needing 1 or 2 more shots worth of damage. Death Knight hopefully getting a Death Coil is going to be able to finish off that Force of Nature. No, it is not. If it's able to finish off that Force of Nature, he should be able to get a Death Coil right there. There you go. At level 2, has enough mana for the Death Coil now, as that ghoul is just going to try and hide back again. No second Acolyte making its way down. Instead, we are going up into a graveyard here. There is one Archer right here, and the Archer, gonna go ahead and reveal itself. Death Knight with the Death Coil. Is it gonna try and save it? Yes, it will. Down to 215 hit points after that Death Coil. Good morning, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for the blessings. Yep. Just a sneeze. Nothing too bad. As the Keeper of the Grove now rotates back off to the north here. What is going down? And this Death Knight sitting at level 2 ghouls well, just going to go ahead and rotate off to the north. Unholy Aura trying to heal up a little bit more. As we can see, wisps are just spread out all across the map. Infi went for a very, very early harassment against his opponent, and he has yet to detect the Tree of Ages. He's still sitting at Tree of Life. He does have a Hunter's Hall here, and he has trained up a fair number of archers already. You can take a look back across here. Huntresses. I was wondering where those units were. Huntresses are going to be the units as we see a ghoul quickly getting taken out. Ensnare on that Huntress there. However, that Huntress is going to go ahead and stay in that spot. Death Knight does have Dust of Appearance. Is enough damage going to be done right here, even though it is surrounded. Scroll of Town Portal saving both Huntresses that were lost off to the side. Beautifully done. Once more, Force Troll Trapper gonna get taken down. Meanwhile, that second Ancient of War in the middle portion of the map, hence the reason why Moon is, well, leading the army race right now. 31 supply compared to 26 overall. What is going to end up happening as the ghouls are now looking to clear out some more creep camps as well. Keeper of the Grove making its way to the bottom left-hand side of the map. It is going to clear out and perhaps try and establish an expansion off over here. Setting up an expansion is a little bit dangerous on this map, and just because if you're trying to stay at no upkeep, well, you need an additional 5 wisps at least to make that, well, gold mine saturated. You end up usually getting about 8 additional workers, and your opponent is going to end up having, well, a much larger army, at least in the early stages of the game, than you. Echo Isle, as you remember, is a very limited resource map. Acolytes now making their rounds out as well. A skeletal minion getting in some extra damage on that archer as the units are now backing away. And we see, well, Infi setting up an expansion of his own. Pacing on this is going to be interesting. We can see the Huntresses are going to be joining in. There is a lot of ghouls. There goes another squirrel there. Gargoyles joining in on the fight, where we see an entangle go down on that ghoul there. Keeper of the Grove will be able to get to level 3. Ziggurat most likely will get cancelled here in just a moment as the Death Knight shows up to the party. Oh, a little bit of damage to be had. Death Knight getting entangled, and perhaps he is happy that he has that Ring of Protection +3 as he's going to try and back away. Keeper of the Grove, well, not quite sure where to go. This Death Knight trying to run off and hide, but he is not going to have anywhere really to go. That is a one-way back alley that he does not want to run on through. The Lich is going to be making its presence known here in just a moment, and a Frost Nova to slow things up could be exactly what is needed as the Death Knight still running around the corner here. Ziggurat is getting repaired. You can see the Acolyte taking a large amount of damage. It's going to get taken out. There it goes, gets taken down as the Ziggurat is trying to upgrade to a Spirit Tower. Death Knight still running off to the side. There's a big Frost Nova as that Huntress most likely will get taken down. There it goes as we're looking at the Death Knight still trying to retreat away. Ancient of War absorbing a lot more damage than Moon probably suspected, as the Moon will end up losing this Ancient of War since he is not careful. There goes that Ancient of War. Gargoyles wanted the last hit for the experience, but no such luck. Units making their way back once more. Lich still wandering back again. We're looking at the Death Knight heading back home. Where are all of these units going as we are at Halls of the Dead, and we're actually staying here for a little while. Breath of Fire going down onto the Lich. There is one Spirit Tower right there. Frost Nova across multiple units trying to slow them down. Lich is in a lot of trouble. 129 hit points, 133. That tower is not the cold tower variety. Now trying to back away, kind of try to get closer. Are we going to see perhaps a Breath of Fire as the unit is just trying to go their way through? There's a Death Coil purposely trapping that Panda in the backside there. Damage is getting added up. We see a Potion of Healing transferred off to the Lich here, and the Panda is actually a little bit out of position. The Panda is in a tough spot right now as we see a cancellation on that gold mine. Breath of Fire coming back out the other way. We're looking at the Death Knight. Death Knight, are we going to perhaps get a Death Coil on that Lich? More damage being added in as the Brewmaster. That was a brilliant play by Infi. Infi purposely, instead of walking straight towards that Death Knight to get healed, actually went behind the gold mine, knowing that the Panda would follow. The Panda followed and then got himself trapped in an uncomfortable situation as the Lich not only got a Death Coil, but also got a Potion of Healing as well, keeping that Lich alive. Great foresight into that positioning right there, enabling that play to take down the Panda. Moving on, We see the Tree of Life finished entangling this gold mine, almost fully saturated. We do have one Ancient Protector, and it looks like both sides will be trying to go for, well, medium-sized armies. I'm expecting the players to have armies in the high 60s to 70s here in a little bit of time, while still trying to defend off their expansions. If you can get an advantage, that would be great. That's pretty much what they're trying to do, as we should also be getting into some, well, no Crypt Fiends. Death Knight and Lich actually going for gargoyles and ghouls. Ghouls and gargoyles. In this matchup, the Gargoyles trying to take down the Hippogriffs in that fight here. Still no Obsidian statues, and more surprisingly, we don't even have a Slaughterhouse at this time. The Gargoyles are trying to back away from the Hippogriffs, as we are now going into a battle here. Lich could be in trouble. There's a Breath of Fire, Death Coil onto the Frost, onto the Lich. Frost Armor trying to offer a little bit of help as well. Huntresses getting taken out, as well as the units are just in a massive run. All right, that Huntress, 197 hit points. A Death Coil would have finished it off, and well, guaranteed a little bit more kills there. Meanwhile, skeletal minions getting in some more damage too onto those Huntresses. That Huntress needs to back off. All right, level 2 on the Lich, level 3 on the Death Knight, going up against a level 3 Keeper of the Grove and a level 1 Panda. 52 supply compared to 47 Infi, sitting on no upkeep. Moon sitting on low upkeep at this time, as they are trying to, well, start to mass up. Here is that Slaughterhouse being built off to the south. Was wondering when and where a Slaughterhouse would be placed down, as well. Gargoyles and Ghouls are generally a go-wide army that really benefits from a Obsidian statue healing up all of those units. All right, Gargoyles, well, effective against not only the Hippogriffs, but also those Huntresses, as we are now going into actually a large number of Hippogriffs. I don't remember the last time I've seen 5 Hippogriffs in an army that was only in the low 50s. 10 supply, about what, over a quarter of the army. 6, 7. Okay, 14 supply of the Night Elf army of the 32. This is almost half the army is in Hippogriffs to try and deal with those Gargoyles, as the Hippogriffs are going to engage right here. There is a Lich here. The Lich does have access to Frost Nova and to slow down the attacks as well, but the Lich doesn't have that much mana, and until the Lich gets to level 3 for level 2 Frost Nova, it may not really matter. All right, Huntresses and Hippogriffs going up against Ghouls and Gargoyles. Is this the match I was expecting to see? Definitely not. And you got to remember, this is from a WGL tournament sanctioned game. So to actually see so many Hippogriffs in a game like this, what is Moon going to perhaps try and transition into? There are no archers out onto the field, so there's going to be no way to really attack anything on the ground. They don't have any ground upgrades. It's actually what's similar to stranger than seeing 14 flying machines just floating around doing nothing. Moon also in a low upkeep health, sitting at 52 over 80 supply, as we see the Keeper of the Grove absorbing a lot of damage here. All right, Hippogriffs off to the side. There is an entangle once more, and the Hippogriffs are keeping any destroyer play at bay, though, interestingly enough, as we are looking at a Sentry Ward going to get taken down. There it goes. Gargoyles are trying to hide off to the side. Hippogriffs are looking for them and has not been able to find them. Meanwhile, Skeletal Minions doing a little bit of a count here, as the Gargoyles are looking to head back over here. Halls of the Dead is currently being upgraded, so there is not going to be a cold tower. Only one cold tower in the Nerubian tower and one spirit tower, adding in a little bit of extra damage. All right, Fly is trying to fly the tower, and there you go, is trying to cause a little bit of separation. There goes a big Frost Nova across multiple Hippogriffs right there, as we're seeing, well, how effective that possibly could be. Death Knight purposely staying close to those Gargoyles here, as we are looking at double Spirit Towers, and the Hippogriffs will decide against trying to chase down any further. I am surprised that we don't see a Crypt Fiend with Web. One Crypt Fiend with Web would really shut down all of this Hippogriff play, as well. The Web ensnares not the right word, brings down that unit, stops them from roots the unit, in position and allows them to be attacked by ground units, thereby disabling much of the hit and run tactics. 50 supply compared to Infi's 56. Infi finally going up on the overall supply count. Webs? Webs. Well, and yeah, anyways, I know web is the actual name of the ability, but I was like, is it a root? Is it a stun? Is there a general name for that particular ability? That's what I was wondering about. All right, units still trying to make their way back once more. Lich gonna go ahead and finish off the remainder of this creep camp with no problem. One web versus 7 hippos. Don't think it's worth it. Well, unlocking that upgrade is always useful, and being able to not have to. Oh, there's those crypt fiends. Are we going to see a web? No, we are not. Web not yet done, perhaps. But yeah, having a couple of crypt fiends is not a bad sign. All right, what is going on here? Moon sitting on about 2,000 gold as we are looking at Moon actually getting a large number of upgrades. At this point, Moon wants to be prepared for anything while dodging taxes, so he is going for hardened skin. He has mastery training. He has now it's worth it. True. Go Moon though. All right, such a strange game. This game is more of a mental game than anything. The action is pretty much very straightforward, and we're looking at Moon just being able to clear out creep camps right now. The strange part is really, what Moon was going for. Moon finally going into low upkeep, sitting at 57 over 80 supply, sitting on about 1,400 gold here, as the units are just, hanging back a little bit more. All right, Skeletal Minion going to do a little bit of scouting out here. We are looking at 2/2 upgrades. And, both sides are making sure that they aren't the one that makes the mistake. That's the question that we're looking at right now. Who is going to make the first mistake as we're going into a third crypt? Okay, we are going into triple crypts right now for Infi. He's at 70 over 80 supply. And banking gold on Echo Isle, is normally very common, but you normally try and stay in no upkeep, not in low upkeep, and get additional production buildings. However, that is not the case here. We're looking at dual Ancients of Lore instead of triple Ancients of Lore, and there is actually units still being queued up, ready to go. I just gotta say, if anyone actually gets up to 7 units queued up in a building, you should really consider building more production buildings. There's no real reason why it should ever have gone up to 7 when you're trying to queue things up. Anyways, a beautiful reveal by Moon to be able to catch that shade in position. Keeper of the Grove has an Orb of Venom. Brewmaster has some items. We are going into a Dreadlord third. Thank you for the follow, Thinking TV. A Dreadlord third, a massive gargoyle army here, a couple of crypt fiends on the ground. There is one obsidian statue on the ground, or 2 obsidian statues on the ground here, and those obsidian statues really do not have the option to transform into destroyers because of the hippogriffs. Is that going to make Roar and Rejuvenation that much more powerful as, and you are already countering your opponent's natural way to dispel magic? Never really thought about it that way. Having to go destroyers to devour magic is actually a very strong ability, but when your opponent has 7 hippogriffs in the air, what can you really hope to do? As the Dreadlord, curiously enough, also went for Vampiric Aura first to help win out in the Gargoyle air race. That with Vampiric Aura, these gargoyles are actually healing 6 to 10 damage per attack, and against those hippogriffs, as the hippogriffs also have Roar and also have full weapon upgrades. All right, we're looking at this Ancient Protector about to get taken down. In comes the units. We do have a couple of webs. Lich, it could be in a little bit of trouble. Gargoyle is trying to engage back the other side. There's Drunken Haze, Breath of Fire, and wow, so much AoE damage. I don't believe I've seen so much Gargoyle versus Hippogriff action ever in a game here, as both sides are just trying to size each other up. All right, units are going to try and engage Panda with Breath of Fire, Lich with with that Frost Nova, who is going to be able to use their AoE magic attack more effectively, as the Obsidian statue in the back here still providing a lot of healing. All right, unit's going to try and engage. Are we going to see an entangle? Oh, there goes that Lich. Lich could be in a little bit of trouble. Double gloves of haste here for that Lich's Orb of Corruption, as damage is getting added in pretty quickly. All right, couple of quick webs onto those Hippogriffs. Units now trying to back up again. Obsidian statues being left behind for some strange reason. They are not being microed into where they need to be, as the units are now backing up. All right, Destroyer going to end up getting taken down. Scroll of Protection being used there. Destroyer able to back up. Scroll of Protection. What is going on here? Both sides attacking with the air as they're trying to just get into position. The Dreadlord falls at level 1. Panda still alive, gets up to level 4 as the units are looking to back away again. Taking down that Dreadlord was absolutely key to avoid that damage. The Gargoyles actually with a Scroll of the Beast as well. Obsidian statue going to get taken down. There it goes. The Gargoyles up to 121 melee damage. That would have been, in fact, been a very large amount of healing per attack from that vampiric aura. And that fight was, messy fight is perhaps the best way to describe that. Another way to describe it would be a typical 200 versus 200 supply fight in StarCraft 2. Normally, fights in Warcraft 3 don't look like that. The amount of space units take up on the ground is very, very important, and you don't get that many units into position. But however, since we're going into so many air units, the fights were just these massive death balls trying to attack each other and trying to take each other down. StarCraft 2 has a little bit more of them, as well. The Colossus and the Colossi units, or Colossus, able to stand above other units as well. In addition, being able to get the Broodlords? Oh my goodness, it's been so long since I've played StarCraft 2. I'm starting to forget all of those names. Anyways, let's go ahead and continue to monitor everything going on here. Gargoyles making their way over. Death Knight, Lich, Dreadlord going to be getting into position. Destroyers are showing 3-2 upgrades going up against 3-3 upgrades here, as both sides just sit in their respective corners. And there's only about 10 minutes of mining left at these expansion gold mines, and only about a minute and a half of mining left in their main gold mines. Gold is going to become an issue if they continue to play like this and just hang back. Now, what can we expect to see here? Keeper of the Grove, if it gets to level 6, which I do believe it will, there's just enough amount of units on the battlefield for the units to get to level 6. Also, what are we looking at here? Moon is sitting on about 1,600 gold right now, and well, just trying to buy better and better items. Is it just marketplace abuse? Perhaps that is the strategy. Double scrolls of healing as well, and well, triple scrolls of healing with a staff of preservation. All right, mass gargoyles in the air. No more Scroll of the Beast. That Scroll of the Beast was an absolute beastly item drop, but well, no longer having that major damage bonus either. That percent damage bonus on those gargoyles, giving making them really win out in that air battle. Let's take a look. 9 armor versus 6 armor. So who really comes out ahead? Hippogriffs have more hit points. However, the gargoyles have more armor. You factor in the obsidian statues healing at a better rate because of effective hit points compared to no healing, as there is no in-combat healing aside from the Keeper of the Grove's Tranquility. Yes, the Druid of the Claw could try and rejuvenate a hippogriff in combat. That would be incredibly dangerous, though, as it would expose itself to the Death Knight's and the Lich's Frost Nova Death Coil 1-2 combination, which would easily take out much of the 580 hit points. Gargoyles also do have more damage, and the attack speeds are, what is it, fast versus fast? It is fast versus fast. Both of those, difficult to actually tell who actually wins out in those battles. I think gargoyles come out a little bit ahead, but then you factor in, Breath of Fire as well, and another Sentry Ward being placed down, Shade getting taken out right there. Also factor in the Keeper of the Grove's Orb of Venom as well, and that damage over time, and also factor in the Dreadlord's Vampiric Aura and the Scrolls of Healing on the Death Knight. all you can really say at this point is we'll have to wait and see. Moon should do roar on gargoyles in next fight for sure. Don't you mean hippogriffs? I do not think Moon wants to be roaring his opponent's gargoyles. That would be absolutely, well, besides being impossible to do, would be detrimental to the longevity of his own units. All right, 79 supply compared to 96. Moon finally breaking into high upkeep, and you can see Acolytes are now being taken down now as the main gold mines are all mined out. Taking down your own Acolytes to try and free up supply. Moon, on the other hand, is in a strange spot. He is in high upkeep, sitting at 98. Is he still mining at this point? No, he purposely stopped mining from his entangled gold mine, while his opponent is still mining at low upkeep. That's why I hate this map with a passion. Oh, well, this map does have to make you aware of resource management, which is one of the reasons why I like this map. If all of the maps were the same, then it would have significantly less diversity. If you hate this map, you probably love Twisted Meadows. You probably love those gigantic fights where you're able to replenish your army very fast and rebuild it, and you have these major epic battles with multiple level 6 heroes. And yes, there is excitement in that as well, that you can camp and have to wait for someone to attack first. Oh, all right. Oh, wow, beautiful Frost Nova's there. Wisp now trying to get back inside. And, well, the battle getting ready to engage here. Hippogriffs, and that is quite a flock of hippogriffs. I don't know what else to call it. I don't know. Would hippogriffs be upset that I called them a flock? As the gargoyles making their way back. All right, there's a Frost Nova across multiple units. Units trying to make their way back. And, well, we're backing ourselves into a corner here. One destroyer in the backfield. Lich going to get ready to engage. There's a Scroll of Town Portal. What is going down here? Unit's going to try and fight. There goes a Frost Nova. And I don't believe the Panda got off a Breath of Fire. No, he did not. As the Wisps, well, are going to leave that gold mine now. All right. Moon sitting at 100 over 100 supply, and now finally, well, Infi doing the same exact thing, going into high upkeep, but pulling all of his Acolytes off of the gold mine too. All right, okay, when I said there was 10 minutes of mining left, I was under the assumption that the players would continue the mine. Don't hold that against me, since, well, there are still going to be gold left in those gold mines here. All right, mass hippogriffs versus mass gargoyles. This is extremely strange. There is plenty of mana here, and this is just turning into a standoff. It feels like whoever makes the first move is just generally gonna lose. And if that's what you don't like about the game, I can't agree to that. You never want to be in a position where it's your move and you are at a disadvantage in turn-based games. That just makes you feel bad, right? You're in a position where you are forced to move, and if you move, you lose. But then again, if you're in a position where you have to be constantly running in a turn-based game to defend, that is not a good feeling either. 93 supply compared to 100. We're looking at more gargoyles still being trained, still sitting at high upkeep, as we see, well, I don't know what unit was taken down there. There goes a hippogriff trying to leave. There it goes, down to 125 hit points. Are the gargoyles going to find that target and be able to finish it off? Gargoyles just trying to fly in front, and are they going to be able to get there? Hippogriff trying to get away, down to 125 hit points, and it looks like, well, it gets swiped once, and that is it. How does a hippogriff fly through an entire section of gargoyles and still end up surviving it? Well, the answer to that is it doesn't. Hippogriff gets taken down, and, well, did it give any hero levels? No, it did not. Dreadlord does have Scroll of Protection, so that little bit of extra protection. Blizz Shouter, Thinking TV, how are you doing? Wow, have not been called Blizz Shouter on this channel in years. I don't think years, yeah. Blizz Shouter. Yeah, my daughter was like, what do you mean Blizz Shouter? You've always gone by Crota. Yeah, my channel name on YouTube used to be Blizz Shouter before never seen this type of game before. Neither have I. But it is turning into a really weird stalemate. At this point, like trying to watch commentary on like live commentary, the player, I got to admit, like back to WarCraft guys and other people who do live commentary, this is where banter is good. You're in so far a 30-minute game going up against two behemoth players. You know that the next fight is going to be like monstrous and it's going to be great. However, you're just waiting for it, wondering whenever is it going to happen. I don't believe you're ever going to get a draw here, especially since the Night Elf buildings can just pick themselves up and go. Death Knight needing to Death Coil that Lich in order to try to get him away. Scroll of Protection being used. All right, are we going to see a couple of taunts? Yes, we are. Frost Nova slowing down many of those units. Units now trying to back away. Crypt Fiends, well, getting in a couple of webs here to try and slow things down, but still being forced to retreat back. Death Knight with level, well, there goes another web right there. Already going to try and engage. There you go. Once again, engaging again as these massive death balls are just moving. Their Hippogriff's going to try and engage here. Obsidian statues are going to heal, and here we are. There's this massive battle. Roar versus Scroll of Protection, and Trent's on the ground. Who's winning out? 86 supply compared to 77. Infi losing more here as Scrolls of Healing are being used on both sides. Hippogriff, Death Coil trying to finish off more units. Gargoyles trying to back away. Hippogriffs with really a large amount of damage with Roar and Scroll of Protection as the units back up. 63 supply compared to 86. And, well, a massive battle between the two. Moon looks like he edged out ahead once more as Infi should be starting to mine once again to rebuild up that army. All right. Level 5 on that Keeper of the Grove. Level 4 on that Panda. Unit's going to try and engage once more. Dreadlord right there. Drunken Haze, Breath of Fire. And all of a sudden, the Gargoyles are going to be missing their target quite a bit as the units are going to still try and fight their way through. Backing up into a corner. All of the towers really a little bit too far away to try and do very much as the Gargoyles going to back off again. Hippogriffs trying to push their way back in. Another Drunken Haze. And the Panda's Drunken Haze across all of those tightly grouped units has really been the death of all of those Gargoyles. Units now trying to back up. 84 supply compared to 51, and Infi absolutely getting destroyed in this fight here as the Hippogriffs are finding their target and taking them down. Keeper of the Grove, once it gets to level 6, all bets are off on who's gonna, well, all bets on trying to take down these Hippogriffs. The amount of damage that the Keeper of the Grove can, well, just keep at bay is so large as the Pandas, Breath of Fire and Drunken Haze really shutting down the effectiveness of those Gargoyles. No Carrion Swarm makes my head hurt. All right. What was it? Was it sleep? Yep, he went for sleep. Oh, great. At this point, I think the Dreadlord thinks that it is better for him to try and go and shut down an enemy hero with a possible sleep, as opposed to trying to use Carrion Swarm to take down those Gargoyles, as we're looking at the Acolytes still mining away. 80 supply. Both sides are mining once again. This is, well, going to be a very short fight as the units are now looking to back up. Mountain Giant getting in a couple of taunts here once more. Large amounts of damage being absorbed by that Mountain Giant. It does have medium armor. Mountain Giant still not in danger of falling. And I believe a quick Staff of Preservation from the Keeper of the Grove as the Mountain Giant is just absorbing all of that damage. Where's the Keeper of the Grove? Wait for it, wait for it. Gonna get a Drunken Haze. Are we gonna see a Breath of Fire? Oh, there's a sleep onto the Panda instead after the cooldown, and that could be huge. No, somehow the Panda walks out of that surround just to get surrounded once more. Staff of Teleportation coming back in once more. Are we going to see? There's another sleep again. Staff of Preservation cooldown. Oh, Scroll of Town Portal transferred instead. Death Coil, Frost Nova, Keeper of the Grove could get taken down. And as I said earlier, trying to use sleep as the ability to get you back in the game by taking down a hero, and that is what Infi tried to do. All right, major nukes going down every which way. That Panda looked like it was dead, and then, well, instead the Keeper of the Grove was dead. It is expensive to resurrect a Keeper of the Grove at the tavern here. We're going to see a little bit of an engagement. Drunken Haze, Breath of Fire, and it looks like the Obsidian statue, does not take the damage over time because it cannot get Drunken Hazed. All right, that Obsidian statue down to 14 hit points. Unholy Aura trying to keep it alive. And while Acolytes will be doing a little bit of a repair job, there's a Frost Nova onto the Lich, onto a couple of those units. Death Knight just wants to get the next bit of experience to get to level 5, but was unable to do so. Flock of Hippogriffs in the air. Well, pretty much useless at this point. You got to remember, well, no Gargoyles needing to back away. There is one Spirit Tower. There's an Obsidian statue right there. Are we going to get some repairs as well? well. There you go. Gargoyle is going to be double backing around, as now we are looking at some Crypt Fiends who would have been able to, well, web down some of those hippogriffs. All right, immune to alcohol. What a malediction. Yeah. Well, well, is your car immune to alcohol? It's a mechanical unit, right? It's Obsidian statue getting repaired back once more, saving that low hit point unit right there. Still more mining underway, but there is only, what, 2,000 gold left for Moon, and only, what, 800 gold left for Infi. Infi is still behind even after taking down a almost level 6 hero. Hippogriffs, if they get caught out in open field, that is going to be the big deal. Leaving like a group of 3 Crypt Fiends out in major thoroughfares for those hippogriffs to get webbed down may not be a bad proposition. Meanwhile, Keeper of the Grove now back out onto the field here. Gonna get some extra Moonwell juice. Back up to mana. We're going to see some damage being brought over. Here we are. Dreadlord sitting at level 2. Death Knight sitting at level 4. Crypt Fiends are all in position as we're looking and waiting for the army to come on in. The Shade is going to keep track here. Well, Shade is going to keep track here. Are we going to see an Entangle? No Entangle either, as the Hippogriff's getting into position rather quickly. Drunken Haze, Breath of Fire, slowing down those units already. Are we going to see a Death Coil? Yes, we are. What is going down? Trying to finish off any of those units as the Hippogriffs are just hanging out as the birds overhead. All right, Death Coil is going to save the Lich. Crypt Fiend most likely will get taken down. Breath of Fire finishes it off, and there goes the well, come on, there goes the Dreadlord. No, Dreadlord stays alive at 200 hit points. Ring of Protection keeping it alive ever so barely, as the units are now trying to make their way back again. No Disease Cloud, surprisingly, and the Death Knight is being forced to use a whole bunch of Death Coils when he is just shy of level 5. All right, there you go. Finish off those units there. Death Knight is going to get to level 6 here. I do believe so. Trying to get that last shot. One more bit of damage. And finally, working so hard to get to level 5, that Death Knight is, well, access to level 3 Death Coils. Abomination does have Disease Cloud now. Hippos mess up the microing by being overhead. That's true, but most professional players can quickly adapt with their control groups being able to death coil within this area right here. That's often how I know I try to heal riflemen if I'm using a paladin rifle strategy, being able to keep track of the hit points of the units down here and seeing which one needs to be healed. Yeah, the classic hippo cloud strat. Yeah. It's like disruption web, except for disruption. The unit is the disruption web itself. All right, Keeper of the Grove is sitting at level 6, has access to tranquility. Yes, it does. And well, what is going down in these battles? Able to heal is incredibly important so far. But this game, both sides, what 490, we're looking at a 70 supply army from Moon, 63 supply army coming in from Infi. Infi is out of gold, and I believe he's selling a couple of his, did he sell some of his items? Let's take a look at this here. Yeah, it looks like he sold some of those items. The Lich, however, still maintaining a good amount of mana. And what is going to end up happening to these Acolytes? Are so far though down to 89 gold, unless someone builds a gold mine somewhere else, some way, shape, or form. Things are not looking good. Meanwhile, down here, Moon is going to be running out of gold in just a second. And then perhaps the Tree of Life can even join in on fights to absorb a little bit of damage. All right, I guess this game can be called the waiting game. As well, oh, there goes a sleep. There goes a hippogriff right there, and well, it gets taken out. Well, very quick death right there. Where are the gargoyles going? Gargoyles still flocking back and forth. The gargoyles are actually more scary than the hippogriffs because, well, the gargoyles actually have a way to attack ground and win games. The hippogriffs are just a large amount of supply to deal with the gargoyles, and once the gargoyles are down, then you need to compare the ground armies. Abominations, Crypt Fiends, 2 Obsidian Statues, 3 heroes going up against, well, Keeper of the Grove, a Panda Brewmaster, a number of Druids of the Claw, and Mountain Giants with a Dryad. Moonstone also being dropped back down across here. Well, I guess no room to really use it, or no reason to use it as of yet, as Shades are easily well positioned back here. Yes, Tranquility is easy to cancel with Sleep, but then again, the Keeper of the Groves Tranquility is one of those abilities that are useful both in and out of combat. And, well, there goes another reveal right there. So you have to be actually within range, obviously, to cancel the Keeper of the Groves Sleep. Maximum hit point units pretty much everywhere. Shades are strategically positioned all across the map as well. Dryads now trying to make their way forward. And, well, we are 39 minutes into this game with no end in sight, as these players are not ready to attack just quite yet. Everyone waiting to max out on hit points and in mana. Moon picked off so many shades so far, keeping track of everything here. And, well, there's a shade off over there just trying to see when this Druid of the Claw and this Druid of the Claw is going to move. Games like these make you appreciate the little things. Yep. Ooh, Dryad getting taken out again. All right, so a little game of Micro War. The Gargoyles are still moving around very quickly. Unholy Aura is at level 2. We may get to, if we get to level 3 Unholy Aura, well, that's just of a win more strategy by Infi. If Infi is able to get to level 3 Unholy Aura, that's probably because he already won the last battle, as we're looking at 64 supply compared to 71 now. How is the gold being earned at this stage? I'm not 100% sure, as another Dryad could end up getting taken down. All right, a little bit of body block by the Dryad, but the Dryad able to get around that shade still pretty quickly. Never been excited by a shade reveal. All right, Shade wanders around and goes, wait a second, where did the hero go? Panda running back around. If he randomly breaths of fire to kill the Shade, that is just amazing sense by Moon to be able to just say, you know what? I think there is a Shade right here, and he just blows fire. That would have been quite entertaining too. Is there a pig living underwater? No, he's. Yep, I guess that he technically is living underwater. All right. Looking at the critters. All right. Dryad looking to bounce back once more. 41 minutes into this fight.
Where is the Keeper of the Grove?
Keeper of the Grove, right here. There's the panda. Level 6, level 5, 71 supply. Moon just sitting on 7,000 lumber and growing. I didn't even know it was possible to get that much lumber. But then, you know, I've seen higher lumber in that free-for-all game. All right, still things getting underway. Waiting for something to happen here. That's just the main question. How is all of this gonna end up going down in just a little bit? Here we are. Hippogriffs do have Roar. Shade keeping track of the units. Roar here, major damage bonus across all of the units here. Panda, Drunken Haze, Breath of Fire gonna be incredibly important. Wand of Illusion also is it gonna be sold here? All right, there goes another Shade getting taken out pretty quickly. End's going to be joining in on the fight. And, well, the Tree of Life could have been uprooted and then tried to be brought over to the battle as well. Bringing over these Ancients would be incredibly important. And then keeping the Tree of Eternity here just so that you have a way to Staff of Preservation to keep your units alive. All right. So far, there's a... nope. Mountain Giant gonna go ahead and pick up a club. Just because. And it looks like we're getting ready for what may be the last battle here. 71 supply compared to 71 supply. Here comes in. There is a bunch of Ents or Trents already making their way through. There is the Destroyer. The Destroyer could have easily devoured that. Gotten some easy shots here, as we're going to be looking at a big engagement. All right, Death Coil, Frost Nova, Sleep onto the Keeper of the Grove. Keeper of the Grove already in a bit of trouble. Going to be forced to back up. Perhaps try and use Tranquility in the back, as we now see a fight on Blight. All right, Dreadlord in a little bit of trouble. Drunken, or Breath of Fire across all of the units. Drunken Haze as well, but the Gargoyles were able to get away. Hippogriffs fighting a Gargoyle all in the wrong spot here as we're still fighting our way through. Necropolis fighting as mass detonations coming across as well. And, well, what's going down? 66 supply compared to 65. Wisps still coming in. We see a couple of webs being thrown down as well as the Wisps are trying to come in with those detonation. Gargoyle's going to try and engage. Dreadlord, well, losing a lot of that mana due to detonations as the Abomination, well, trying to do a little bit more here. All right, we're going to see some engagements here. Hippogriff's going to get taken down as they are out of position, and it's just the straggling units getting lost constantly. Death Knight needs the Death Coil. That Dreadlord here trying to get back on the Blight as well. 61 supply compared to 62. Abomination in that front line spot as the Panda going to be running off into position as well. All right, more battles coming across. Gargoyles trying to get back on the Blight. Lich was trying to land a Frost Nova, was unable to do so. Not that much mana as we're still looking at the Obsidian statues in the backside here. Frost Nova hitting the Hippogriffs, slowing them all down temporarily as the Gargoyles going to try and engage once more. Drunken Haze, Breath of Fire across all the units in the back as, well, the Obsidian statues still working overtime to keep all of these units alive and well. 62 supply compared to 60. And, well, no one really coming out ahead as of yet. All right, what is going to end up going down in this battle? We're looking at the Keeper Panda and that Keeper of the Grove in the front line. Brewmaster with plenty of hit points. We're going to go into an engagement here. A lot of damage added in. Dreadlord in that front line spot. Hippogriffs going after the Gargoyles. Gargoyles trying to run off all to the back here. And, well, getting trapped themselves into a corner. A couple of webs taking on a couple of Hippogriffs. Still fighting their way through as the Dreadlord getting Death Coil to try and be saved. All right, are we going to see some more Death Coils coming in across here? There goes another Hippogriff. Dreadlord staying alive. Death Knight nearby, but does not have that much mana. Level 3 now on the Dreadlord. Dreadlord, what's he going to try and do here? Trying to, well, get his way out of a very tight situation. 48 supply compared to 54. Moon's units are actually dropping as another Hippogriff going to get taken down. 44 supply compared to 49. Dreadlord falls at level 3, though, so we are still pretty even in terms of overall supply. Another Breath of Fire finishes off a Crypt Fiend. Are we going to see that Obsidian statue taken down? And that Obsidian statue taken down actually by the Lich, I believe. And that was, well, a major loss there, not being able to heal. What is going on? Losing that unit there. An illusion. Was that one of illusion? The illusionary panda. Where's the a real panda back across over here? Gargoyles are going to go ahead and find a couple of Hippogriffs, going to go ahead and take them down. Bears trying to escape back here. Lich is still in position here. Abomination. We're going to take a look at more fighting going on in again as another Hippogriff gets taken down. Death Knight sitting at 5. Lich is almost at 5 as well. Wants to get to 5 desperately. Are we going to see a Crypt Fiend get taken down and perhaps a Bear? Bear gets Staff to Preservation, and that saves it, giving the Brewmaster level 6. Level 6 has access to Earth, Storm, and Fire. There you go. Earth, Storm, and Fire are now out onto the field as another Crypt Fiend gets taken down, and it looks like Moon is going to end up taking this game. Earth, Storm, and Fire, the ultimate ability, having access to Cyclone all of a sudden, and, well, that would have enabled Moon to start picking off units, forcing engagements as well. Earth, Storm, and Fire, well, being able to win all of that right there. Panda giving the ultimate win. A 6-minute marathon match between these two players right here. Moon losing more gold to upkeep, but still somehow having the larger army at the end. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed it.